Leader of the United Workers' Party, Ron Green, says calls for by-elections in Dominica should be considered unconstitutional. In a statement issued on Tuesday, Green still wasn't clear as to whether the UWP will take part in the July 9th by-elections. He says, however, his party will continue to listen to the people.
Any by-election without establishing definitively and by which competent authority the Marigot and Salisbury seats are vacant would be unconstitutional in our view. To date, neither the Speaker of the House, the Attorney General, nor the Prime Minister has informed the citizens of Dominica definitively as to who has declared the Marigot and Salisbury seats vacant and by what authority. Therefore, this call for by-election should be considered unconstitutional. The United Workers' Party will continue listening to our people and will represent strongly their call for integrity, honesty, good governance, and a productive economy. The UWP will continue to insist on doing things right, following our Constitution, respecting our laws, and expecting a full role for our opposition. UWP stands firm for real democracy and denounces fraudulent elections, and as such, UWP will continue working hard, advocating and mobilizing for electoral reforms such as ID cards, clean list, fair access to DBS and other state media, adherence to bribery laws, and free and fair elections. Dominicans near and far should by now realize it is only by, quote, breaking the silence of the night, unquote, and reaching out to each other that justice will prevail, and trickery, deception, lies, greed, arrogance, and other evils will fade away.
Leader of the United Workers' Party, Ron Green. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt's DLP government won 18 out of the 21 seats in Parliament, but the UWP started to boycott following the announcement, claiming that there were irregularities in the polls. Elected member for Marigot, Edison James, Salisbury's Hector John, and Roseau Central's Norris Prevost had been boycotting Parliament in protest. However, Prevost managed to keep his seat after attending the third parliamentary sit-in. House Speaker Alex Boyd Knights declared the two seats vacant last month after the MPs missed 3 consecutive sittings of Parliament. Prime Minister Skerritt said on Monday that the by-elections were unfortunate but necessary in our quest to uphold the provisions of the Constitution. The date announced for the by-election is July 9, 2010, with nomination day carded for June 21st. In other news this evening, businessman Jerry Brisbane says he's concerned about the policy of the authorities in Dominica who have been awarded to mandate the agricultural affairs of the country. Brisbane told an interview with Kairi FM News that his company was not afforded the same opportunities of another company to import agricultural produce.
The concern that I have, the major concern that I have really is actually with the bigger picture, primarily, which is the policy of the authorities in the country who have been awarded or given the mandate to manage, obviously, the affairs of the country in respect of the agriculture and the farmers and whatever else, to ensure that obviously the future of farming and the likes are protected as best as possible. There were other individual concerns which we had as a company, but in a sense, leads up to, as I said, the overall concern regarding the policy of agriculture. And that was the case where our company was not afforded the same opportunity as a new entrant, Save-A-Lot, into the market in terms of a license to bring in cabbages, tomatoes, lettuce, sweet peppers. We were afforded a license to bring in other vegetables like carrots and broccoli and these type of items. And so for me, that raised the question as to whether or not our company is being targeted or victimized, because I did call the authorities in the Ministry of Agriculture to find out why it is our company was not afforded the same opportunity, and as of yet I am not able to receive any genuine answer to my concerns.
He says his company will now take the issue to the next level.
We are now going to take this to a next level where we are applying for ripe bananas, we are applying for eggs, we are applying for oranges and grapefruits and stuff like that, and to see if we will be granted a license. Now, I have said very clearly, and I repeat again, that it is not our intention to compete with the farmers for produce that is readily available. Over the 16 years we've been in the business, we have worked with the farmers, and the farmers, in fact, on the program I did this morning, called in and ascertained that, and said they have a very cordial relationship with the established supermarkets. So we are not looking to upset that. But if it is that this now is a case where the government has changed its policy, then we want to have fair access, as is being granted, to other persons in the industry to import whatever it is that they're importing, and that's all we see.
Businessman Jerry Brisbane. Dominicans could soon pay less for liquefied petroleum gas LPG. According to the minister with responsibility for Petrocaribe, Reginald Austri, the distribution of Petrocaribe LPG could kick off here tomorrow.
Petrocaribe, yes, Petrocaribe is in fact getting ready to celebrate its first anniversary on Dominica from the time we started operation. Remember, it was sometime last year when President Chavez came to Dominica to inaugurate the plant. We have been supplying diesel. We have the capacity to do gasoline, LPG, and jet fuel. But one of the highlights of this anniversary is the launching of our program for distribution of LPG to the rest of the country. As you know, we have a program where we supply LPG to our centenarians. And from the time the facility was constructed, there was also the intention of putting LPG on the market for the benefit of the Dominican people. And we have come to that point where we're ready to launch the program. And I think we'll be going for all the communities in Dominica as a first phase. And all the constituencies will be given an opportunity to purchase our LPG. And we're hoping that program will be launched on Wednesday. So as of Wednesday, you can go to the various outlets which we have selected around the island, and you can in fact purchase your LPG.
Mr. Austri says the introduction of LPG by Petrocaribe at the lower cost is testimony to government's commitment to reduce the cost of living to consumers.
We're hoping that our LPG from Petrocaribe will be put on the market at a lower rate than what now obtains, because we keep talking about the high cost of living, and we as a government, we've pledged to do everything possible to reduce the cost of living, but still allowing the private sector to come in and to make their contribution and to play their part. But we as a government, we have a responsibility to the people of Dominica, and anything we can do to ensure that the people of Dominica receive some sort of relief, some sort of benefit from activities.
Petrocaribe Minister Reginald Austri. A number of government officials, including Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, will attend the official launching of Petrocaribe LPG tomorrow at Jimit. The event is scheduled for 10 a.m. Petrocaribe celebrates 1 year in Dominica. In more news this evening, efforts to strengthen the linkages between tourism and agriculture in the region are ongoing. Tourism consultant Sobers Esprit says building linkages between agriculture and tourism in the Caribbean is critical. Mr. Esprit is also of the view that tourism could help further boost the agriculture sector. He attended an OECS Ministers of Agriculture meeting in St. Kitts on the way forward for agriculture in the Caribbean.
We will start first of all with an emphasis on the food item, the food element, and then to move on to the non-food or services sectors. So we have a tall order insofar as trying to develop the necessary criteria and capacity for agro-tourism linkage in the OECS islands. Folks, the whole issue of building linkage between agriculture and tourism for us in the OECS is very critical. We recognize that tourism is the driver of the economy in most of these islands, or if not all the islands, and the opportunities in tourism are tremendous. And we think that tourism can in fact help to further boost the agricultural sector.